The Cuyahoga County Council special meeting for Friday, December 16th is now called to order. Andrea, would you please call the roll?
Good morning, everyone. As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. It is now 10:39 a.m. Calling the roll, Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Ms. Turner. Ms. Turner's absent at the moment. Ms. Stevens. Ms. Stevens absent at the moment. Ms. Simon. Ms. Baker.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Present.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron.
Here.
Council President Jones.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
The republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Andrea, is anyone signed in for public comment?
Yes, Maurice Rhodes.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
First order of business, the former Justice Complex, juvenile Justice Complex built in 1931. I'd like to ask the executive and the county why it was torn down. It was built in 1931. It's making my neighborhood, giving me problems, health problems, safety problems. You know, you wouldn't have it at Cleveland Clinic or University Circle or somewhere else. I think it's racism. 1931, this is 2022. I'm stuck back in time. You know, you say you have a surplus in your budget and you don't have $2 million, $5 million to tear this thing down, and you come with this con game talking about it's up for sale. You ain't in reality. Nobody is going to buy a 1931. You got to demolish that. They may buy the land. They're not going to buy the land because Old City was built in 1937. You have failed to renovate it. You got these black people that voted for you talking about vote Democrat. I'm for you. It's a confidence game. You're doing nothing for these people. And Chantel Brown running around, he's talking about, I'm going to give you internet. You know, great, I got internet in my raggedy old city, which was built in 1937. Then I got this fake mayor, Mr. Bibb, talking about some, we've been talking about lead for 50, 60 years. Look, if you make a resolution, if city council, Cleveland, if the mayor make a resolution and send this to Mr. Biden, send this to Ms. Fudge and say, look, I want $2 billion to renovate HUD, to redevelop HUD. Ronald Reagan sold the crack. You destroyed my neighborhood, my people. You made them into drug addicts. You made them into criminals. And now you come with this con game telling me it's justice, telling me that this executive did a great job, and he allow this juvenile thing stand there for what, 10 years and running? He come with this con game talking about he's selling it. Nobody's going to buy it. Nobody wants that land. But all I can do is build HUD housing on that land. The black people need housing. Whether you go to St. Clair, whether you go to Cedar, whether you go to Harvard, Miles, Kinsman, I need to build housing. This county has let me down. The sorry U.S. senators let me down. Chantel Brown has let me down. But you'll come and you'll say, give me your vote. I'm Democrat. I'm doing something for you. But the Republicans blocking me. Understand me, Republican, Democrat, ain't neither one of you gonna do nothing for me. I want some housing for my black people.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes.
Yeah, thank you.
Lou?
Good morning, everybody.
it seems like in our chambers right now, holiday spirit is rising up. Thanks to Mr. Trump started the trend today. First thing I would like to say, people may not think of, I actually would like to thank Mr. Armand Bodish for all his service. Yes, hits and misses, true, but lots of things is not even under his control. If people do not have a transparency to report their project clearly to him, of course, he won't be able to make a good decision. Insufficient data, we all know that. So now, here is something, the original piece handwritten by a 60-year-old retiree, currently staying at the Hale. But for your convenience, because she only wrote one copy, so I got it scanned, so all of you can have that. In the email, I typed her story up. There are 5 points there. They all happened within a year. But now I'm here to telling you her story on the part happened after all these, she couldn't really get because she's too much in anger and frustration. For somebody with health issue, like having seizure at old age, her housing goal is to stay at a place which her brother is already there. So they can be health taker to each other. Guess what? Remember I mentioned about our service provider being responsive or not? Now, here is the workforce issue as well. You hire somebody to help people on housing, but this person only knows 2 housing processes. So this person sent this elderly lady to go to all the places she didn't need to go, wasted at least 6 months of her life, stuck in the hell for her to fall, for her to get COVID-19 again, for her heart problem to come up again, this and that. She gave the exact application for the place where her brother is. She just needs to shelter to help her to fill it out so she can go to stay at the same place with her brother from the shelter. Even this is too much to ask. So you also have received my previous email telling you even Wi-Fi service provider, the way they're being responsive to pay the customer. So today we do have a serious workforce issue, and this is what we need to correct to help all the correction officer in the correction facilities so they will not get dragged down by the in-correction officer. Unfortunately, all the people even not qualified to be the in-correction officer, now they work at a shelter. Also, thank you, Mr. Tuma. We will miss you.
Thank you. I'm not going anywhere just yet. But
I know, but I just say that because it's the end of the year. So the good wishes, for you, because you will have a good job you are looking forward to.
Right,
so that's a good thing we will have in the new year.
Thank you.
Not good for us, but really good for your community.
Thank you. I appreciate your
And
confidence.
also, Mr. Jones, please go to University Hospital to visit your friend who got mistakenly discharged from the hospital to the shelter to recruit. Now her condition is even worse, so she had to go back to the hospital. Dr. Deirdre Jemison, please do. She just had to go back to hospital from the Hale yesterday morning. Please visit her. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, Andrea, are there any other public comments?
No, that concludes the public comment portion for today's meeting.
Okay. Can we have a motion to approve our minutes as presented on today's agenda?
Second, Simon.
Been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. The minutes are approved. So at this time, I just want to share for my colleagues, we want to have our farewell wishes and well wishes for our county executive, but we're going to do that at the end at our miscellaneous section. So that'll be an opportunity for our executive to share in his own way and us an opportunity to respond as well. So we will look to do that at the miscellaneous section. So at this time, we'll move forward to our county executive and his messages.
If it's okay with the president, I'd like to hold my comments till the end as well.
All right, excellent.
Thank you.
Legislation introduced by the executive. Consideration of a resolution of first reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution 2022-0450, amending the 2022-2023 biennial operating budget for 2022 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, appropriation transfers, and cash transfers, and amending Resolution Number 2022-0400, dated November 9th, 2022, and authorizing the reduction of excess budget appropriations for fiscal year 2022.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution is the year-end fiscal agenda of budget amendments. Answers to your questions to OBM are on your desks. The adjustments are routine and modest in number for a final year-end amendment. The notable feature today is that we also give the administration blanket authority to reduce excess appropriations that are not needed. The administration will provide us a list after the fact in early January. This process prevents us from getting dinged by the state auditors for having appropriations in excess of available resources. We went back and forth with the state over this for a few years, and they decided that we can give blanket authorization for appropriation reductions. But for appropriation increases, we must see the specific changes in advance prior to approval. And that's what necessitates our having this late year-end meeting. I recommend passage on first reading suspension.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Consideration of resolutions for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2022-0414, authorizing an amendment to a contract with Educational Service Center of Northeast Ohio for fiscal agent services for the Families and Schools Together program, activities, and parent services for the period January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2023, to change the scope of services effective October 1st, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $654,000.
Move to adopt.
Second, Sean.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. This matter was heard in committee, the Education and Environment Committee last week. This is an amendment to the contract to extend the time for services, and it's funded by Health and Human Service. I ask for your support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0426, making an award on requisition 9647 to KS Associates, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $700,000 for preliminary engineering design services for various FEMA lakefront sites, effective upon contract signature of all parties through December 31st, 2025.
Motion to adopt.
Second, Conwell.
And, Mr. President, this was heard in Public Works Committee on a couple weeks ago, and it was explained to us the importance of getting this through, and I would ask my colleagues' support on moving this along.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Mr. President, can I have my name added?
Let's add Councilwoman Conwell's name.
Duly noted. Resolution 2022-0427, making an award on requisition 10237 to GHD Services, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $1,400,000 for a professional engineering design services for the Gold Coast Lakefront Multimodal Facility Project in the City of Lakewood, effective upon contract signature of all parties through December 31st, 2024.
Motion to it. Oh,
Move to adopt.
second.
Mr. President, this is a very important project for my district, and I would just like to thank you, Mr. President, for putting this on today's agenda so that it doesn't have to wait until after the end of the year break to get started. Thank you.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution 2022-0434, authorizing a grant award with College Now Greater Cleveland, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $1 million for the disbursement and monitoring of funds as fiscal agent for Say Yes Cleveland, commencing upon agreement signature of all parties through July 23rd, 2023.
Move to adopt.
Second, Conwell.
Thank you. This matter was heard in committee. This is an allocation of ARPA money from our executive, and thank you very much for your contribution to Say Yes. And this will allow the program to continue through mid-May of 2023, which will be the end of the school year. And as all of you know, we have not received the contribution from the federal distribution from 4E to allow this program to be sustained over a long period of time. So we're able to get it to the end of the school year, and we'll look to the new executive about whether he would like to come up with a collaborative plan with other partners to be able to see this through another year or more. So I ask for your support to get this through the end of the school year.
I'll take a moment and just want to thank Councilwoman Simon for her work on this resolution in committee, and again recognizing the challenges that we're hearing and bringing it to light. It allowed me an opportunity to delve a little deeper into this, and I fully support this piece of legislation. And as Councilwoman said, and just so our colleagues understand, this project had 3 funding sources originally: CMSD, Title 4E, and the county. And 4E did not come through. So as a result, we had to go back and figure out what could be done. And those conversations are still in the works. And then we will see. And we have added here $1 million towards that shortfall. So we have done more than we originally promised. But this $1 million helps towards that. And the conversations, I think positive conversations are taking place to fill that gap. But here's why I think it's important. College Now is, these dollars are going to create mentors in our local CMSD schools, mentors to help our children and to graduate, to help get them across that finish line. And what makes that more so critical at this moment is that Corporate Cleveland and others have put monies aside to send our CMSD children to college. So everyone who graduates from CMSD has the opportunity for a free college education. So obviously the goal is to have more kids graduate. This is what this $1 million goes towards, closing the gap, that we help our children to graduate. So as I've delved deeper into this, this is a very critical piece of legislation. I don't believe the county should be paying the whole bill for the shortfall from 4E, but there are other partners who can play a part. And again, those conversations will take place. We will look to see what happens. And I have realized now that it is more than just who's going to pay for it. This truly is an opportunity to partner to again raise the graduation rate of our children in the city of Cleveland. You're all very familiar with Ted Ginn Academy. He does something similar to this. He has 9 mentors in his high school, and he has a 98% graduation rate in his high school. So these dollars here and the parties who will be working with CMSD, the City of Cleveland, ourselves, Say Yes to Education, all the partners, we have an opportunity to, again, replicate things that are happening even just in Ted Ginn School. So with that, the big picture vision for me on this piece of legislation is that we have done it with Ted Ginn. There's no reason why CMSD cannot continue to grow, to increase the graduation rate from where they are now to a higher number. And why that is visionary and why that's so important is that it actually can become a business attraction model. To increase the graduation rate of our children, we have an opportunity to create a workforce and that businesses around this country can look at the city of Cleveland and say, hey, there's an opportunity here. So that is what we can shoot for. We could miss it, but it's worth shooting for. That is the what I see in this legislation, and I've spoken with other leaders as well in the city of Cleveland, and we will see what comes from it as in the coming days and weeks. But this is a piece of legislation for us all to keep our eyes on.
Mr. President?
Yes, Councilman Miller.
I would just like to reinforce the idea that this is a very important program, and to say that that under your leadership we created a closing the achievement gap program in selected schools and school districts, and it's always been my vision that that this kind of assistance to students who need a little bit of extra support and help to stay on the right track and graduate is something that should be available to students throughout Cuyahoga County. And the Say Yes program creates something that's very similar and makes it available to all CMSD students. And so that's a very important step forward. And so I strongly support this legislation and support the efforts to find a long-term sustainable solution. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I just want my name added, Mr. President, if that's okay.
Yes, yes. Let's add Councilman Sweeney's name.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I just wanted to reiterate what both of you and Miller have stated. This is a good program. I'd like to have my name added. Children need to see, we don't know what kind of, in working with HHS and the children that are in our care, we never know what backgrounds some of our children come from. And even though these children are not in our care, many of them are in foster families and things of that nature. And so when you don't have that parental structure or family support, I think that's what the role that we're playing in giving them an opportunity to advance forward with their life. So thank you.
I'll say this to Councilman Miller's comments around what the county does already in terms of this initiative, CTAG. We have, when we created it a good 7-8 years ago, we started in 9th grade, and the goal was to help these children graduate, 9th through 12th. In 4 years, we would give out proclamations and those things, but we found something special. When we had a graduation class after 3 years, and the reason was that we targeted the at-risk youth in our school who were not graduating, who were dropping out for whatever reason, finding destructive activities and not being able to stay on that path of constructive opportunity. But when we engaged them, we helped them recover their proper school credit, and after 3 years, we had a graduation class. Again, because we helped them recover their proper school credit and graduate on time. So there were 33 children out of a potential 200 to 300 that we were touching who finished in that way. So we had something special at that moment. We had laser focus, what we do well as human services, into the educational world, right into the school system, where we saw the outcomes in terms of grades and all of those things. So with that, the goal is really to recognize that that's what we did here is what Ted Ginn does with, where we have one mentor in a high school. He has 9 mentors capturing the whole high school, and seeing the whole high school is at risk. And so that's the secret sauce to what's going on. So the goal, I see it, is to make sure that same secret sauce is in this initiative. So that means we watch closely. We don't want to hear from these podiums the typical things that are important in terms of output. You know, how many kids are in the school? Okay, that's beautiful. We need to know that. But what we need to focus on are outcomes. When you put that mentor in the school, are we reducing the suspensions? Are we reducing the dropouts? Are we increasing attendance? Are we increasing graduation? They need to be able to graduate to receive those corporate Cleveland dollars and others. So those are metrics that we will be watching. Are they using the best practices that the secret sauce requires? Those are things, and we have time to have those conversations. This is not just a one-time funding. They, like all funders, we all know they come back. And when they come back, you know, we need bang for our buck. So we have plenty of time to learn more about this. This will help them through this time period. The city of Cleveland is working closely on this. But again, I see great potential in this legislation. So we will, again, continue to watch this closely and see how it develops for the benefit, again, of all citizens of this county. Are there any other comments?
Council President,
Yes.
I would like the record to reflect that Ms. Turner's in attendance.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. With there no further comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilman.
would you add my name as well, please?
Let's add Councilman Miller's name.
So we have Councilmember Sweeney, Councilmember Conwell, and Councilmember Miller.
At this time, our miscellaneous business. This time, we're going to recognize our county executive and allow him to take the floor.
Permission, Mr. President, if I can
Definitely.
come to the podium. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
So it's hard to believe, but this is my last council meeting after 8 years. I'm glad you called this last meeting so that I would have a chance to say thank you and goodbye. We've had a very good partnership. Yes, there have been some disagreements and some bumps in the road. But if you compare the relationship between the state legislature and the governor, or between Congress and the president, our relationship has been extremely positive. For that, I want to especially thank Council President Pernell Jones and Dan Brady before him. Together, we've worked with a common goal: to improve the lives of Cuyahoga County residents. In my State of the County, I highlighted 5 of our most significant joint achievements. First, we guided the county through the worst crisis in our lifetimes, the COVID pandemic. We provided 27 million items of PPE to first responders, teachers, nurses, and others, more than any other county our size. We made testing and vaccines available in underserved areas. We protected prisoners in the jail so that while jails and prisons all around the country experience hundreds and hundreds of inmate deaths from COVID, we had 1. Second, we ensured our children could get a good start in life by doubling the capacity of our high-quality pre-K program and reducing the infant mortality rate by 30%. We supported young students in CTAG, strongly supported by Council President Jones, and we provided wraparound services through Say Yes. And with the support of Councilwoman Simon, we took steps to ensure that all students would be able to attend post-secondary education regardless of income. Third, we supported the creation and retention of more than 20,000 jobs, which is double our initial goal. But bringing jobs is not enough. We also revamped the workforce training structure with support of Councilman Schron by creating our sector partnership program, which has started very successfully. Fourth, we undertook 3 major innovative initiatives to make the criminal justice system more fair and equitable. With Councilman Gallagher's support, we created the state's first diversion center and are bringing all partners together for central booking. Fifth, we've ensured that our county will continue to offer professional baseball and basketball for at least another 15 years. Councilwoman Baker required family-friendly programming as part of our support. And we've done so much more. Together, we're extending affordable broadband access throughout the county with the support of Councilwoman Turner and Conwell. We're reforming the system to care for people experiencing homelessness. With their support, too, we're also making significant progress in making emergency placements for kids in extremis. With the support of former Councilwoman Brown and her successor, Meredith Turner, we're incorporating equity and inclusion into everything we do. And the future is very bright. County government is in the best financial position that we've ever been in. While our reserve requirement is about $125 million, we should end this year with more than $140 million in reserve. Special thanks to Finance Chair Councilman Miller, Council's own Mr. Good Government. And our financial success is supported strongly and very well by Joe Nani and Trevor McAleer. As I said in my State of the County, all of our great accomplishments have resulted from our joint efforts. One other thing that I'd like to add, you have been courageous, and I want to repeat that, courageous. In the face of withering, unrelenting, wrong-headed criticism, you all did the right things. Again and again, you did the right things. You supported the improvements to the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and Progressive Field. You agreed to save taxpayer money by using design-build construction in the face of false attacks based on supposed no-bid contracts. Some of those attacks were extremely hypocritical, since some of the critics used the design-build method to construct their own buildings. You stood strong for a new jail in the face of attacks that the land was contaminated, even though some of the critics' own experts said that the land could be safely remediated. And you also stood strong with respect to extension of the sales tax to pay for it. In the face of false attacks that somehow the extension of a tax at the same level was a tax increase. And you worked with your local communities to make needed, transformative improvements that otherwise would have been unaffordable by those communities. In the face of unfair accusations of slush funds, I want to particularly commend Councilpersons Sweeney, Stevens, and Tuma, who took the brunt of the malicious attacks. I'm very comfortable leaving the county in your hands. I have great confidence in our future. I want to thank you for everything you've done and will continue to do. Thank you.
All right, amen.
All right, at this time, we want to allow each council member to share their thoughts and comments, and we will go in district order. Let's begin with Councilwoman Nan Baker.
Thank you, and certainly, Executive Budish, I want to thank you for your service and all the lives that you touched in the programs that you just highlighted. It has been my service with you over the last 6 years, and there have been good things that took place here. I sincerely wish you the best in your future endeavors, and when a door closes, as I said, a window will open, and I wish you the best. Thank you.
Mr. President, my colleagues, to Armin first, I'd like to share my favorite personal Armin Budish story, which is that 1 year, about a week or so before the State of the County address, I ran into Armin at a meeting, and I told you that I'm going to be very interested to find out what you have to say in the State of the County address. And Armin responded, "Yes, I am too." Armin, it has truly been a pleasure to serve the people of Cuyahoga County together for the past 8 years. You have provided visionary leadership on many issues, including expanding early childhood education, enhancing infant mortality prevention efforts, implementing incumbent worker training and the sector partnership programs for workforce development, creating the Office of Innovation, microgrids, solar panel expansion, the Opiate Innovation Fund, the National Guard Pay for Success program, the new Child Welfare program, the Diversion Center and Central Booking, and more. You and I shared a vision about the urgency of local action on climate change, the centrality of improving our economy and society through better education, better workforce development, and better health care, and the primary importance of finding ways to help people straighten out their lives other than through being held in jail. Being county executive is neither a sprint nor a marathon. It's more like a relay race. You have run a very good leg and provided strong foundations for further progress in the next administration. I wish you the very best of health, happiness, success, and prosperity in all of your future adventures. It's truly been a pleasure to serve with you.
Thank you, Mr. President. To my county executive, first off, I'll just tell you a personal story about Armin. He's rather mischievous. I never knew that side of him. Everybody thinks he's kind of quiet, smart, articulate. I'm at the Parma Democratic Club at the picnic. Got my big plate of food. You put it down on the picnic table. And at the Parma picnic, there's a whole bunch of people. You're shaking hands. I turn around, my food is gone. I'm going, I put it right there, and I'm looking at it. About 3 tables over, Armin's sitting there with a big smirk on his face. I'm like, I'm going to kill you, dude. Never thought it was coming, so that endeared me even more to him. I really didn't know you. I only had the privilege of serving 2 years with you. But for the 8 years of all the time I've been here, I've watched you. And you always stay true to yourself, Armin. No matter how much you were getting beat up. When I got here, you were under a barrage. You were getting hit and turned and pulled. And there are people saying, try this, Armin, try that. You're like, I'm going to take care of the people that put me here. And you never, ever wavered from that. And that's what I see as the crowning glory of your administration and your human beingness. And watching you and Amy grow as a young love and keep going to right now. And I'm going to wish you the best of luck. And I don't think it's going to be the last time I'm going to see you. So thank you.
Thank you, Armand. First, I want to congratulate you on your newfound ability to be able to spend more quality time with your wife and family. And after all, family is the most important commodity in all of Cuyahoga County. Second, I want to thank you for your unwavering support of me and county projects that positively impacted District 4. We've not always agreed on issues, that's for sure, but you've always been respectful and have always demonstrated an innate understanding of the importance of the continued socioeconomic viability of our county's inner ring suburbs, including Parma. In addition, you've always been an advocate of maintaining and or improving the aging infrastructure in those districts, and I appreciate that. The 3 mayors of my district and our constituents will always be grateful for your continued interest and strong support of our communities during your time as executive. Lastly, as far as your administration's accomplishments or, quote, bumps in the road, I'm reminded of Teddy Roosevelt's Man in the Arena, or in this instance, the Man in the Rocket Mortgage Field House, right? We'll let history judge all the achievements or faults, and I do know this, Armand, you've always been a hardworking, straightforward, and good man. And when I see you in a room, I'll always go across to shake your hand. Thank you for being my friend.
Armand, we were never on the same road, but somehow throughout the journey, we got on the same road. You knew where I stood. I knew where you stood. We didn't always agree. Many times we disagreed, but we ended up on that road. Nothing more proves that than the jail experience. And I'm confident that with the next executive, we'll get back on that road. There have been difficult times. There have been joy. There have been tears. But as we were telling Ms. Baker, when you leave here, you leave as a family member. And it's important that you have a good leader. And we had a good leader. We had a good leader with Ed. We've got a good leader with you. And my best hope is that we have a good leader with Chris. We went through an awful lot. And it seems like a lot more than 8 years. But I wish you nothing but the best for your family. I will cherish these days, believe it or not, because I've learned so much. And that was because of you. And I thank you for that.
Go last.
You're gonna go last? Okay, great. Well, as the guy who got his butt kicked by Armin 8 years ago in the election, I think that there would be a natural tendency to have some confrontational relationships, and I can tell you that was never the case. That was put behind us within, a short time after the polls closed, and any time that I needed to pick up the phone or vice versa, when that phone rang and it was his number on there, or conversely, whenever I called him, the phone was answered right then. It was not, hey, can we defer this call for 2 days or something of that nature? So it was always a stand-up relationship that we had, the two of us, because we both understood the value of the greatest social program that the county can ever offer, and that is the creation of jobs. And because what it does for the family, the core, the strength, the community, the church, the synagogues, all of that comes together. And so I was thrilled that the sector partnership became one of the cornerstones of what we're going to do. And I really believe, having been on the inside and watching it and being part of that, you ain't seen nothing yet. I know that if you haven't been by the new Magnet headquarters, I highly encourage you to go by that. The job creation, the National Guard program with the Success program that David back there that helped cheer that on, I think it would have been easy to kick the can down the road and say, yep, it didn't work, our Success program. But instead, you and David Merriman both said, nope, that ain't going to be the way it's going to be. We're going to see whether we can fix it. And the good news is we didn't spend one penny until we actually have success. And so it's all geared towards the next level of success. So with that, I was excited to see that. And being a military guy for 28 years, to see us doing that with the National Guard, what a spectacular way to make lemonade out of the lemons that we started with that program. And so congratulations to you on that. And I know this is a hard one for both you and I, but I really believe that when we come back and look at it ultimately in a year or 2 years, because I spent a lot of time this week on this very subject, the Opioid Innovation Fund is going to be looked upon by this council as being one of our successes, and what it's going to mean as far as finding other solutions outside of just treatment. Treatment is needed. It's got to be part of it, the program. But thank you, Armin, for sticking with it. And he tells me he is not giving up, because he's got some other resources, even within the last 3 weeks, that he's going to be twisting some arms and trying to do some negotiations. So with that, I wish you all the best, you and Amy. Your holiday season's coming up, and may God bless you for your holiday season coming up, and have a terrific 2023. Thank you.
Armin, if you hadn't taken the chance to run for county executive 8 years ago, we may have never met. As you stated, there have been bumps in the road, but you have always had a listening ear to hear my district concerns, District 7, and I thank you for that. When I brought your attention to the issues that we were surfacing in the Department of Children and Family Services, you rolled up your sleeves to get involved and to seek and to understand, to work toward the betterment alongside of me for the children in Cuyahoga County. I believe this is where we became a lot closer. Again, I thank you for your 8 years of service to the county and sharing Amy with us. Me and Kevin have a little funny story with Armin as well. So I don't know, maybe when it was years ago when you had first got elected, I don't remember. We were at the Art Museum, and it was an auction, and they were raising funds, and you had to hold up the paddle and things like that to bid on things. Well, that it went along for a little bit, but the program wasn't over. And me and Kevin, we had to leave. So we got up and to leave, and we were saying our goodbyes because we had the fortunate pleasure to sit next to Amy and Armin. And Armin said, by the way, can we have your paddles? And I'll never forget that. And we were like, no, we don't trust you with our paddles, with our pocketbooks. So that.
We've shared so many amazing democratic moments together. I've been on this journey for a while, held many different roles, volunteer, staff, observer. I want to thank you for always being willing to take my phone call and talk with me and guide me. I would have never imagined that I would be in this position. And now that I am, you're leaving me. I want to thank you for your years of service, your commitment to supporting elders in our society and making sure that they're taken care of, the work that you've done around economic development and job creation and housing and urban revitalization. I've been watching all of you. But Mr. Executive, I want to say that these moments have been golden. And I appreciate you, appreciate all that you've done for us here, and I'm grateful for our friendship, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, Armin. We've been friends before you came into office, but I never had a chance to work with you closely professionally. So this has been an extraordinary experience to get to know you better and to truly understand your commitment to the betterment of every human being that you can touch. So that was so significant for me to watch and talk about courageous. No matter what the winds, how they were blowing, coming from all ends, you always had your eye on the ball. And we'll be able to look back and see that you were right on target. What I always treasured was the ability to go into your office, the open door policy, whether it was a friendly visit or I was in some kind of torrid hornet nest mode, right? No matter 5 people in the room, clear it out, she's coming in. And I always appreciated that and let me vent, let me speak. And so that's something I'm going to remember is your leadership and with all of us and listening to us. So that's appreciated. But the programs that I know are going to be extraordinarily just revered would be the solar panel farm. I don't think people realize in Brooklyn, we won a national award for that. This is on the landfill site. And Armin took the leadership with the sustainability department to do that and also supported the sustainability department because that did not exist. When Armin came in, I was able to get that legislation, and with his support, we really built out a functional, forward-looking department. And so that's going to be a legacy for you also. And the work being done there is nationally recognized. And I know that this microgrid is going to be one of those examples as well, especially now when we're poised with infrastructure bill coming out, that we'll be able to lead nationally with that. So your support of the plastic bag ban and keeping Lake Erie clean is something I value so much, that you understood that microplastics are detrimental and so harmful to the environment, for the wildlife and for humans. So that's something I'll remember. And your vision for Lakefront Plan, to have it from east to west, and hopefully we can continue on with that vision. Education, since I chair education as well, just working with me on closing the gap for students to graduate. That's something I'm always going to remember, and the expansion of UPK. Early on, that was something that you took to heart and actually were able to implement. Anti-discrimination legislation to protect all of us was very critical as well, that we have that on the books. And obviously the jail and your team that you put in place, Bill Mason, Bob Corey, everybody that came together to make sure that we were able to look forward and have a more just system here in Cuyahoga County. And, you know, we hope that that vision somehow can manifest later, but I know that you held everybody to the fire, and I'll always appreciate the diversion and central booking and teaching me all the nuances of that through your staff. So Armin, you know, I came in as your friend and leave as your friend, and hope to see you in the community. And I've had the pleasure to represent Armin and Amy in District 11, and hope to see you at events going forward. Thanks, Armin.
Well, Armin, I'm going to miss you. Your friendship has meant a lot. You're a man of integrity and of substance. And when I first became council president, you were already here in office. You were my county executive when I was given this opportunity to lead this body. And our meetings, our time together have meant a lot. We have not always been on the same page. We certainly have had our knockdown dragouts, but there are also many times when we were together and on the same page. And I believe those were the moments when this county benefited the most, and I was the most proud and happy to work right alongside you. And you've heard it; they have all been said in those moments. Like the jail, critical projects to this community, the jail, the ARPA dollars of how we distributed those dollars, and many other projects. I'll say this: every time we go to ribbon cutting is a perfect example. And despite your seriousness, everyone sees the smile. And to Councilman Sweeney's point, it always amazed me. And sometimes I think I might be too serious at times, but you would always with every ribbon cutting, you're telling some joke or making everyone laugh. And I say, well, I'm not going to do what he does, but but it's funny when you get up and you keep it lighthearted, even in the midst of very serious matters. So one, I'm just thankful for having been able to work with you. I wish you all the best, and Amy as well. Your better half. I just wish you all the best in everything that you do in the future. All right. Well, everyone, at this time, what I want to do is Councilman Sweeney and I, we have two tributes for you, a proclamation and an award. And if you would, we want you to come stand here at the center, and we will present these to you.
Councilman Sweeney.
That's good. County Executive Armin Budish, on behalf of my council president, my 9 other colleagues, and the 1.4 million Cuyahoga County residents, it is a distinct honor and privilege to recognize you with a council resolution on your retirement. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's a couple key ones I'd like to read. The Council of Cuyahoga County and the unlimited worldwide audience watching this live right now. Just want to throw that out at you, so don't be nervous. This Council of Cuyahoga County takes profound pride and great pleasure in recognizing Armin Budish on the occasion of his retirement. As the longest-serving county executive in the history of Cuyahoga County, 8 years, dedicated service of the people of Cuyahoga County. Armin Budish was born in Cleveland. We know that one. He attended Swarthmore College, where he was elected, can you believe this? Student government president. Shocking. He went on to New York University for law and later went to Washington, D.C., which is his most important decision he ever made in his life, because he happened to meet the love of his life, Amy Jacoby, who was working with the Carter administration. You're lucky you made that call, young man. He became the first speaker of Jewish heritage in the 70-year history. Armin is continued, what's this thing? Tikkun Olam, Hebrew, world repair. And he took this award seriously. try to take care of Cuyahoga County. With a bunch of other mumbo jumbo, therefore be it resolved that the Cuyahoga County hereby commends Armin Budish on his exceptional career and his leadership as Cuyahoga County Executive. And we all wish Armin, Amy, David, Ryan much continued success, good health, and much happiness. Congratulations, Armin.
Before you go, Pernell, I got to tell one story about Marty.
No.
Yes. I don't know. It's not so easy. So when I was first thinking about running for county executive, you go around, you try to get some support endorsements. So I went to see City Council President Martin Sweeney, and I asked him for his support. And, we had known each other a little bit, but not real well. And he tells me, no, I can't support you. I said, okay, can I ask why? And he says, yeah, because I'm running. And I looked at him, and he kept me on that hook for about, a few minutes, actually, long minutes. And then he said, I'm just kidding. I don't want that job. And he supported me. So thank you, Mike.
Thank goodness.
Armin, I'll share with you, the proclamation was supposed to be the pinnacle, but we have an award here for you, and I'm going to tell you why. He knows my weakness, and you all know it. I love comic books. He gave me a mug that had Superman on it, and it had eight different versions of him from all the 80 years of the existence of Superman, and I appreciated that so much. And I said, hold on, we got to do something. So what we have here is it's a plaque, just to commemorate you as the longest serving county executive, 8 years, and it simply says, presented to Armin Budish for his service and dedication while serving as Cuyahoga County executive. So again, congratulations. Thank you for your service. Yes,
sure.
We can't get everybody in. Maybe we stand back.
Let's even get Gallagher in here. Come on.
Yeah, we did.
Let's do a picture.
Santa, this ain't no Santa.
Hold this. How's that? Very nice.
You want to stand back here?
What?
Council President Jones, we want to also make a motion to excuse Cheryl from the meeting as well. I see she's not here.
I'll make a motion, excuse Council
Second.
Vice Chair Stevens from this meeting.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
I just want to add at the end here that I really appreciate your all comments and your friendship. Thank you very much.
All right. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. I wish you all happy holidays, and we will meet again Tuesday, January 3rd at 11 a.m. here in council chambers for our swearing-in ceremony. All right.
Can't wait till next year.